This is the movie report at CinemaCon, written by Michael DeKeenan.
The first official full day of CinemaCon 2023 began with the usual State of the Industry program. However, this was far from the usual State of the Industry address, for it marked the farewell of longtime NATO President John Fithian. After a couple of eventful decades that saw, for starters, the transition to digital projection and the existential threats posed by day-and-date home releases and the pandemic, he leaves the post with the exhibition industry on an undeniable rebound. He delivered the hard figures proving that, but he also went a couple of steps farther in his speech, boldly, but not implausibly, declaring that theatrical is the keystone of the movie industry. Not only does it deliver return on investment on the business side, but a theatrical release status strongly influences viewers' decisions on what to stream, not to mention gives films lasting cultural relevancy. With Apple Original Films partnering with two legacy studios on a pair of theatrical releases featured at the convention this year, plus Amazon releasing Air in theaters earlier this month to much success, movie theater exhibition's position over home streaming is clearly being reasserted. Thus, the exhibition industry is left in solid health for Fithian's imminent successor, Michael O'Leary, whom Fithian and MPA President Charles Rivkin welcomed in their respective speeches. Immediately following the State of the Industry program was Warner Brothers' annual The Big Picture presentation. Their trademark has always been trotting out a parade of big stars onto the Coliseum stage, but they reached even higher by having the CEO of their parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav, appear in person to deliver an address. He spoke of the studio's commitment to exhibition, giving films full windows, and offering 16 theatrical releases in 2023, with an eye for delivering more than 20 annually in future years. He called Warner Brothers a storytelling company that wants to bring magic back to theaters. The first featured title trying to accomplish that mission is the film version of the stage musical adaptation of Alice Walker's classic novel The Color Purple. The producer of the new film, and Oscar-nominated star of Steven Spielberg's 1985 non-musical movie, Oprah Winfrey, unveiled the film's first trailer, alongside director Blitz Bazawule, who both then had a panel discussion with stars Taraji P. Henson, Danielle Brooks, and Fantasia Barrino. An even surer bet to bring the magic, at least as far as box office dollars, is Barbie. Stars Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling showed up on stage in full character costume as the iconic dolls Barbie and Ken, introducing the film's new trailer alongside co-star America Ferrera and writer-director Greta Gerwig. Timothée Chalamet pulled double duty on stage, first representing the family film prequel Wonka, the origin story of the famous chocolate maker. He and co-star Kayla Lane introduced the first trailer, which avoids any hint that the movie is a musical, an odd choice given the footage shown at last year's convention was all song and dance. Chalamet later returned with fellow Dune Part 2 star Zendaya and director Denis Villeneuve, premiering the first teaser trailer for the sci-fi sequel, which Villeneuve called The Main Course. The Conjuring horror universe gets a new installment this fall with The Nun 2. Returning star Taissa Farmiga and new cast member Storm Reed appeared in person after a look at a full scene and extended trailer. Another Warner Brothers film universe, based on DC Comics, was also well covered. While the upcoming reboot led by James Gunn, called the DC Universe, was not given anything beyond mentions by Zaslav and Gunn's partner Peter Safran, the last three films in the current iteration, the DC Extended Universe, were featured. A hero making his screen debut this summer is Blue Beetle, whose extended trailer was introduced by stars Xolo Maridueña and Bruna Marquezine, and the film's director Ángel Miguel Soto. Even though the film would be shown in its entirety later in the day, the Flash director Andy Muschietti took time on stage to introduce the film's new trailer. A third DC title, the Jason Momoa starring Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, was represented by the premiere of the film's first trailer, introduced on tape by director James Wan. This was one of only two films that were covered without any in-person appearances, the other being Meg 2, The Trench, a sequel to the hit Jason Statham shark thriller. Action then shifted to the convention halls with the opening of the trade show, where the latest in movie theater food and technology offerings were on display. Mainstays such as Dolby, Mars, Pepsi, and presenting sponsor Coca-Cola were back, and while there were more vendors than last year, this part of the convention has not completely rebounded. with a number of empty spaces in both rooms. The final Coliseum presentation was the screening of what Zaslav had earlier called the best superhero movie he'd ever seen, The Flash, with director Andy Muschietti returning to the stage, this time in more formal wear. The buzz at the screening was rather positive. That energy carried over to the closing event of the night, a party at the Caesar's Palace Pool of the Gods, sponsored by Fandango.
For film reviews and more, please visit TheMovieReport.com. Also follow me at 2Trey23 on Instagram and at 2Trey23 on Twitter.